Do you remember your first car? That first vehicle that you had that gave you freedom. Mine was a beater Ford Ranger with over 300,000 miles, no power steering, stick shift, but I love that thing. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, you all remember right now that first vehicle. And if someone asked me to give it away, I don't think I could. The value to me was far greater than any sort of cash I could have gotten. And so if I would pose that question to you at that age of 16, would you be willing to give away your car? In a way, it's like saying you're going to give away your freedom. I don't know that I could do it. Well, it's a question I ended up posing some students a while back. My name is Trent Jenkins. I'm one of your pastors at North Coast Church and excited to be able to talk to you about giving during the Serve Your City emphasis in this project period of time. We're going to take a look today at Mark chapter 12 and the principle that Jesus teaches us right here. It says, Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she gave out of her poverty. She put in everything, all she had to live on." You see, in the economy of Jesus' world, it's far different than our economy. He looks at 2 copper coins and says that these are more valuable than all of the other money that these other people had. Well, if you're Jesus, then you have a different understanding and perspective of money. You see, because he's God. He's God the Son. And all that has been given to us by our Father, and he recognizes that to a much greater degree than you and I. You see, the wealthy, they gave out of what they had. The widow, she gave out of what she didn't have. You see, she had the copper coins, but she didn't have anything else. She didn't have anything else. The only thing she could do was depend on her Father in heaven. Now, when we're posed with the question of giving, I want to be able to give with a joyful heart, and many times I think I do, but I got to be honest. A lot of times when I'm posed with the question of giving, I evaluate it on what it is that I'm going to have to give up, rather than necessarily what it is I can bless somebody with. In this amount that I'm thinking about giving, what will I not be able to buy? Now, it's called sacrifice. It's sacrifice if you're not going to get anything in return. But you see, we live in a different economy. We live in God's economy, where he always ends up blessing us far greater than we can possibly bless him. I was a youth pastor, and we posed this question to our students about giving. We decided to sponsor a village in Kenya, and the project price for Compassion International was $25,000. Now, to pose that question to a bunch of high school students that are just scrunging up all the change in their car to be able to get a Starbucks, this was a big deal. And we asked them to sacrifice, and many did. One girl came forward, and I couldn't believe what she was thinking about giving. You see, it was just a few weeks prior, and we saw on social media that her dad surprised her with a car, a VW Bug, one of the nicer, newer ones, and she was just over the top. You should have heard her screams on social media posts. And she came forward. She said, "I really think God's asking me to give of my car." Her car, her most valuable possession, and it's all that she had. It's like, we said, maybe you need to talk to your dad. And she did. And he's like, if this is what she wants to do, then I'm in support of it. Now, there are some that criticize later, like, well, her dad gave her the car, so it's not like she had to earn it. And then a couple months later, her dad ended up figuring out another car to be able to give her. So was it really a sacrifice? A lot of people criticize, like, is that really that big of a deal? But you see, isn't that exactly the point? It was her father that gave her the car in the first place. And it was her father that recognized her gift, and it was her father that provided again. Isn't that exactly what our Father wants to do for us? If we recognize that all that we have has really been given by him in the first place, that he will take care of us in the future. Let's give not out of what we have, but out of what we don't have. Because when we do, we're recognizing that all that we have comes from the Father. Have a great day.